Good morning. It's morning where I'm at. I don't know where you guys are, but it's morning here. I know I haven't posted in a while. I feel like I needed some time to just gather myself and figure out what my next steps are going to be, how I'm going to tackle this whole tinnitus thing. I've talked a lot before about my time spent with Trouble Health and how much they helped me. It's been about 16 months now, and for some reason, I feel like the tinnitus is kind of at a standstill. It's been the same since July, and it hasn't really budged. I don't feel the volume reducing like I did before, and I'm just trying to figure out what I need to do to get that needle to move again, to get everything to start lowering in volume, to get the tinnitus to start responding again. So I have been making some changes. I'm going to, well, I did start doing Pilates. I'm going twice a week. And the great thing about Pilates is there's so much slow movement, breathing, and counting. And the 45 minutes that I spend in that class, it's really hard to focus on the tinnitus because you have to focus so much on the breathing, counting, and the technique. And that really, really helps. I also had a conversation the other day. I know a lot of you guys probably know who I'm talking about. His name is Julian Cowan-Hill. He's a tinnitus specialist. He lives in the UK. He had tinnitus and no longer does, and now he spends a lot of his time working with other tinnitus sufferers to teach them the techniques that he used to lower his tinnitus. I had a conversation with him the other day, and it was a little strange because there's a clear difference between what I have been doing in terms of sound therapy and what road I would go down working with him. So I think after talking to him, the best thing for me to do going forward is to use what I've learned from Trouble Health and maybe not completely focus on the sound therapy side of it, but start to focus inward a little bit more, focus on centering and grounding. And like Julian says in a lot of his videos, when you have tinnitus, your ears are up and out. They're like radars. Everything we hear is super loud to us, or it gets us to like react because we're so scared of noise and anything making the tinnitus worse. And in his practices, he teaches that instead of up and out, he wants your ears to be down and inward. So it's a lot of grounding techniques, a lot of meditation, a lot of figuring out how to get your ears to stop reacting and being so on 10 all the time. And it is quite a lot of work to have to go through these exercises every single day. But I feel like at this point, after 16 months, and yes, my tinnitus is much better than it was when I first got it, but I'm still not content with where it's at. This is not where I want to stay. This is not a volume that I consider acceptable to live with for the rest of my life. I am going to fight tooth and nail to get this tinnitus to reduce, to disappear, to just go away. And I'm going to switch up a little bit right now and start focusing on some of these practices that Julian teaches and still combine that with everything that I learned in terms of the cognitive behavioral therapy and the sound therapy from Trouble Health. But I'm just kind of at a fork in the road, and I'm deciding to go in a different direction, because I'm the one that has to live with this. I'm the one that has to cope with this every single day. And it's time now to do something else. It's just been too long. 16, 17 months. Like, I never ever imagined that after all this time that it would still be this bad. A couple other things that I think are worth mentioning. I found a neurological chiropractor near my house who, it's really interesting because although he's a chiropractor, he deals with patients who have brain trauma. So, you know, Meniere's disease or vertigo or concussion or people that have had brain tumors. And he basically tries to find the deficit in your brain activity and then gives you exercise to try to fill those deficits in. So we've had a couple of sessions, and it's really interesting to work with somebody who is so hyper focused on the brain and the nerve activity and then adjusting you according to that. So it's been really interesting working with him. And also, I started journaling in quite a different way. So in the past, I haven't really journaled, to be honest. I just write down every day the type of noise that I'm experiencing, and then I rate it from 1 to 10 in terms of volume and irritability. But I'm starting to get a little bit more detailed with my journal entries now. I am writing down my water intake, what I'm eating, how much exercise I'm doing, which grounding exercises I do. I'm just putting a little bit more detail in so I can see if there are any patterns. So I figure it definitely can't hurt, and if it can help, then it's worth doing. So I just wanted to check in with you guys and let you know where I'm at. I will continue to update you on things that I'm kind of getting into, things that are helping, things that are maybe not helping. But yeah, I'll check in with you soon. And, hopefully you guys are all doing okay and you guys are trying to figure out, just like I am, what works for you, because we do know that we're all different. And not everything that works for me will work for you, and vice versa. So just don't give up. Just keep trying. Try everything and anything. It doesn't matter. Figure out what is going to work for you, what is going to reduce your tinnitus and your anxiety and your depression and your frustration, and stick to those things. But just don't give up. Just keep going. Eventually, we'll get there. And I believe that with my whole heart. So I'll see you guys soon.